We are live. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy. Thank you. Let's welcome Jessica.
Hello.
Jessica Faith Marshall. Hi, how are you, dear?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much. Wow. It's been a while. I sometimes ask my guests how did we meet? Do you still remember how did we meet and when?
We met during New York Fashion Week in 2015. Yeah, and we were driving around, like going to all these different shows, um, and yeah, so it was 2015. I think I was like 15, and you were doing like the film coverage of the shows, and I was doing the photography and blog coverage. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's all these years, let's say 5 years ago now. When I know you, you're already so bravely, enter the fashion world those days. Tell us a little bit of those days, the fashion, what do you call it, Mercedes fashion show. What did you get out of those shows? Did it help you at all to make you, make better art or make you known, or in any capacity, did you get any inspiration from those days?
Totally. I think so. I started essentially in media and blog coverage of Fashion Week. And I think that exposure at such a young age was the thing that kind of brought me up to speed with the industry, what it takes, the energy, how cutthroat it is, which essentially, even like in my career now, I mean, it is extremely cutthroat. Every day there's like stuff that kicks you down. And in any creative career, I mean, you really need to be able to withstand that, especially in a city like New York. And coming from cities that were similar to New York, but not exactly like that, I always had like a little bit of exposure time by time. And I was always meeting different designers, making connections with like editors from Teen Vogue and interviewing other designers. So it really kind of gave me like a hands-on education that any other school wouldn't have been able to offer because of how like in the industry it was. And then I was able to witness how it evolved over the years, the more and more that I kept coming to the city and then eventually moving to New York and became like full-time in the industry here.
Yeah, so I remember reading posts from you on Facebook. You're about to move here, and this and that. And was it a difficult transition, or was it all excitement?
It was a combination of both because essentially I always had it in my heart to move to New York on my 18th birthday. And I did do that. And I experimented at first with like getting all the tattoos and like experimenting with my style. And I worked so many different fashion jobs. Like I was a full-time VM at Victoria's Secret, Herald Square. So it was the biggest Victoria's Secret in the world. And we had like CEOs and like people from corporate coming by and like checking when we were at 6 a.m., like arranging all the bras and doing like 4 a.m. Like we did shifts from like 9 p.m. to like 9 a.m. the next day. And there were like so many intense jobs that I had like that. And so I would say moving to New York just gave me a thick skin to eventually work the job that I have now, where essentially it's a lot more managerial and I have to kind of be more of an executive. Like I don't have as many people telling me what to do all the time. It's just more up to me as a creative to look at every situation I have and be an executive about the decisions that I need to make. So yes, it was difficult, but you become a New Yorker within like 3 years and you've seen enough that you're not really surprised by anything after that and nothing can faze you. So it's worth
Yeah,
it.
that's wonderful. Now, tell me a little bit about, I remember so vividly when you were designing and drawing those jackets. So how are they? Are they like somewhere people can buy it, or like are you still doing it?
It's
Those jackets.
it's interesting because I still do like some commissions here and there for friends. Like it's not an official thing anymore. am dissolving my corporation because I have much bigger plans. Like I feel like the work that I do is not meant to be commercialized. In fact, a lot of times I submit articles that I have like on my blog and everything with my writing, and it never suits the exact niche that they are trying to accomplish, because any other corporation or blog, for example, will already have an idea of what they want and what their audience wants. And what I have is kind of my own vision of where I want to take things. And the jackets were just a tiny piece of the pie of all the other things that I wanted to pursue as a creative. And so now I just have like a general portfolio site. But the jackets that I have now, I mean, I do have photographs of them, and if people ask, like, I will give it to them for a super cheap discount, but it's not like an official thing that I'm like selling these jackets.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Yeah. But so I'm gonna go into your website. So I can share screen.
Oh
Ha,
yeah,
ha, ha.
yeah.
Ha ha ha. Let me share screen. Okay, let's see. We share screen. Your website is so cool, man.
Thank you. It's been years in the making. Years in the
Yeah.
making.
Here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very classy. You divide them into art, design, video on the left side, and the middle is your name, and the right side is about you and contact stuff. And you guys check out her blog. She is amazing writer. Amazing writer. I just thought I just told Jessica, I say your writing, it's almost like I'm watching a movie. It is so visual. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
writing is
amazing.
all about creating a picture with words. I mean, I'm an artist, so really everything that I see is still art to me.
Yeah. So this is your drawing. Look, you have some Chinese symbol there. 兴旺喜. You know that, right?
Yeah, the ones on my
the
siblings'
hand.
middle names. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, seriously. It's so my middle name is Faith, or I know it's Believe in technically in the translation, but and then my other sister is Hope and Joy.
Oh,
we're Faith,
oh
Hope,
my
and Joy.
God! Yeah, 幸 is like Wang is 希望 hope. She is happy. 幸 is like a faith. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So may I ask who took the picture for you?
Those are my own photos. I just do those on the fly. Like I'm really bored. Like those were during quarantine, and I was just alone. And I'm like, how about we just set up the camera like right here, see what happens? And I like set the timer, and it just go bing, 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 bing. And then afterwards, I'm just like, let's see what we got here. And then I just try to make it work.
That's great. That's
no
great.
fancy lighting. We just got a big ass window right here. So there you go.
Yeah. That's really great. So yeah, these are your blogs. I read all of them. Really
thank you. All of them.
Yeah,
wow, that's great.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So now tell me a little bit about you are studying Greek. Why?
So I work for a Greek company. They do all types of like lifestyle sleep products, like anything from like wooden bikes and natural sleep products with aromatherapy, and it's like a whole thing. And this company, they have like hundreds of stores around the world. So I was like, okay, this is a very international brand. I've almost never had a customer that was actually from New York. Like everyone is from somewhere, and Greek is kind of the entire essence of the company. I mean, we had events that were about Greek culture and doing Greek dancing, and like everything was about Greek culture. And my boss is from Athens. So on a daily basis, he was speaking Greek, like whether it be with his friends or like people that came in. And I was like, I kind of want to get in on that. You know what I mean? Like, what about me? I work here full time. Like, if I'm going to spend this much time here, like, why not? I'm really passionate about the company. So it's been over a year now that I've been studying. And I think my teachers say I'm reaching fluent or like about fluent, but I still have a lot, Greek, there's a lot to learn. So,
yeah. Wow. So is it very, very different way compared to English? Or are there
Well,
any
it's different
similarities?
alphabet. It's
Yeah.
actually like many different cases. There's like genitive, accusative. There's class A and B of 1, 2, like class A1 and B2 of like verb conjugation. And the verb conjugation is also like combining words together, and the words change. It's a whole thing. Like, yes,
Uh-huh.
it's extremely. And so even just the first 6 months was just like trying to wrap my head around the concept. But in a sense, I think Greek helped me to kind of broaden my horizons as an artist generally, because then I started getting into music because I started writing in Greek, and that turned into playing guitar and then combining everything. And generally it just made my brain more like capable of retaining new information. So
Yeah, and I think overall, learning language is a really great way, stimulate your brain, right? It's
oh
a
yeah.
great, yeah. And I so tell me you're also into another new language now.
Oh yeah, so as of recently, it's been German. And the Duolingo streak is like almost 400 days, because every day I like even have a little bit of Danish in there because I read a book about Denmark, and so I'm
uh,
like just trying to like get my hands a little bit in like all of these different cultures
yeah,
and languages, because really the
yeah.
essence of any culture is the language, how they speak.
Yeah.
Like it's all about, interacting with other people and trying to include those cultures. Like when I work at Cocomat, I mean, we have people from Brazil, we have people from Germany and Greece, and it's so important to try to be inclusive by
Mhm.
being respectful, or at least aware of their language and like geographically where people come from. So
Yeah. So where are you working now? How has the COVID affect the store? You did not always open, did you?
So it's interesting. We were actually considered somewhat of an essential business. Like, yes, we are a luxury company and in SoHo, but it's sleep products. I mean, people were spending so much time at home that we were finding actually our sales were doing really good, because people are like, well, if I'm going to be all day in bed working from home, might as well invest a little bit more into my mattress. So actually, and last month was one of our best months ever. Like we did
Wow.
orders all over like the world pretty much. We're getting requests like crazy. And so I would say in a sense it made people realize the importance of good sleep, because mental
Mhm.
health and
Right.
daily functioning is just about good sleep.
Right.
So
Right. Right. Wow, Nick, my friend Nick is there. Nick needs a mattress. contact,
come to
contact
Pokemon
Jessica.
Soho.
Yeah. So you have some friends here, an artist point of view. Oh, that's your mom, I
Yeah,
think.
that's her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi, mom.
that's
Hi,
my
mom.
inspiration.
Because yes, I recognize her logo.
Yeah,
Yeah. So speaking of mom, can I can
yeah,
I
absolutely, go
say
for it.
something?
Yeah.
So I was, I'm always studying my guests, right? Before I talk to them. And I learned so much from you guys. And I'm just really, I think I have a really great, so-called job right now. And so one of the posts you wrote to your mom when she, uh, when Mother's Day, you said, Mom, thank you for sitting next to me at every fashion show and all the art lessons through the years. I'm gonna cry. Thank you for supporting me in fashion when everyone else doubted me and taking me to New York City on my 18th birthday. Thank you for every time you sat on the photo for 2 hours at 3 a.m. to listen to the rat or to listen to me rant about life. I think I missed a line. Sorry. Thank you for always praying with me, even when I did not appreciate it as much as I do now. Thank you for sending verses to me when I was down and sharing all of your wisdom with me. I hope one day I can amount to your level of talent, education, and spiritual growth. You are truly a beautiful and inspiring woman of God. Thank you. Oh, happy Mother's Day, Christy.
Yeah. That's my mom.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I saw her. I met her when I see you with her. You know, she was there.
Yeah, I
So
think she visited one New York Fashion Week that I went up to New York, because that's
yeah,
the kind of person that she is. She wasn't the kind of person that would just be like, okay, here's $200, see ya after the flight, like, you know, have fun
yeah,
in New York for your work or
yeah,
whatever. She was the kind of person that's like, I want to go with you. I want to learn about the industry so that I can better support you
yeah,
and teach you how to
yeah.
do art and fund your fashion career. And that was essentially all of the training that helped me succeed in New York today, because
Mhm,
she never gave up on me. So today when I want to give up on myself, I'm like, well, if she
mhm.
didn't give up on me when I was 12 trying to work in fashion, you know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
we're not doing it.
That's like it's almost like I see so many parents send their kids or accompany their kids like to New York for the kids go to Julia when the kid's only 12 years old, you know,
Yeah.
and the parents actually sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you're very lucky. And may I ask what line of work does your mom do?
So my mom is kind of a bunch of things. I mean, she's an ESL teacher, so she teaches English online, like on italki, which is a website that I use to learn the languages that I'm studying. And so she teaches English. She's getting her doctorate right now. She has her master's in at DTS in Dallas, and she does baking on the side. Now she's like dabbling in like baking, and she's also an artist. So like a few years ago, she was actually selling, like she does these enormous panels of like floral with gold leaf, and they're so incredibly like fine art, beautiful pieces. And so that's kind of why, like, she's always been an artist at heart and really nurtured that in me and my siblings as well. So
Yeah, you're very blessed. So now, where you work called Coco, what is it called?
oh, Coco Mat, yeah, so Coco Mat
Coconut.
Soho.
Coconut. So yeah. So now, do you get to incorporate any of your art skills? Like what exactly your main responsibility is?
It's essentially just running the showroom. I mean, it's only three of us running the entire store, and we are essentially the flagship in all of America because we only have three stores in New York, and that's for all of America. So essentially, I just run the showroom, do any like financial reports, selling, any like boring stuff, like administrative kind of stuff. But also, we have a director of sales that comes in every once in a while, and he inserts little thoughts like, okay, how about we do this for the visual merchandising? And I know you're a visual merchandiser, so how about you take this whole department for like the kids section or the Taki Cavelli section, and you assemble like a little home area or whatever, and we work together kind of like a team to make the store like luxury and to fit SoHo, because each store has its own clientele. So for SoHo, it has to be like very artistic, very fashionable, and luxurious. So I do have a lot of opportunities to be a visual merchandiser, like at my last career at Victoria's Secret. So it is a combination of administrative and creative.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. So tell me about you said you draw inspiration from your travel to Cyprus. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I went last year, and it's really interesting because I actually went to Cyprus before I worked at Cocomat, and so that was kind of my introduction to Greek culture. And when I was there, I was staying with my partner and friends and his family, and I had this like very immersive experience in the philoxenia, like the hospitality of Greek culture, and it was an incredibly different vibe than my experience as a visual merchandiser working like all the time at Victoria's Secret. And I was just like always a city girl. And to finally be immersed into this culture where people are on quad bikes wearing bikinis and like just drinking frappe like on, you know, by the pool, it was an eye-opening experience. And ever since, I stopped wearing black every day. I started learning Greek, and I totally immersed myself into an entire different world. And that opened up a whole new avenue of like painting and more like loose sketching and illustration, like more fashionable, flowy kind of ideas for my artwork. So the idea of just traveling outside of where you are from, it opens up like your mind outside of your little circle of where you are all the time. And you're like, wow, there's this whole other world that I didn't even know about before. And it's beautiful and so inspiring. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what travel a lot of time does to us, right? Because and I teach in a college. I also ask my student. I said, where have you been? But many actually, many student like a college student of these are the mostly these students live in my live in Long Island, yeah, Long Island, Europe.
Yeah.
So people don't really get to travel enough, so
Right.
they, I mean, I feel the same way. I say like when you're traveling, you're you're always listening, right? You're always
Right.
watching, and there's always something fresh to you, and you don't see that in your hometown.
Right.
It's a great learning experience and stimulates your brain, and you never know what triggers. So tell me a little bit about your project. Like right now, you're doing a lot of sketches.
Yeah, so I've been pretty much, because I don't have a lot of time at home. I actually, because when I do on my days off, I'll do my big wooden panel paintings with acrylic, and I'll spend hours on one piece. But because I work full time and my job even requires sometimes working overtime, I had to find a way to interact with the city and find inspiration without actually being home and having like all those resources. So I have all of these little like moleskin sketchbooks that I fill up like one a month, and I will sit down like for lunch on the corner of like Grand and Green, for example, and I will literally just sit and watch all of these people living their lives. And it's so average, and most people would say it's the most boring thing in the world. But if you really pay attention, everyone has like a different story and a totally different way that they walk, and they're always involved in something. I mean, one time I just saw like two really interesting people with really cool looks, by the way. Like people in New York are always stylish, especially in SoHo, and they're just like living their lives. And I will just capture it with like a gel pen or a ballpoint pen, really quick sketch, like see it in the moment, and then I sketch it and do my own interpretation. And this is a way that it's not necessarily like creating, it's almost just like capturing with my own like interpretation. So
Documenting.
exactly.
It's like I take a picture, but you're just drawing, right?
Exactly. And I think that's a really, like, there are two types of art, and it's good to have both, like where you pull inspiration by just sketching what you see, and other times where you do a masterpiece that's so different than what
Yeah.
you're seeing. So
So tell us a little bit about like how was your training in art? Like, did for me, I have to, take lessons. I'm a violist, and I have to take lessons weekly and practice. But for you, how does that go? Like, do you start to take lessons about how to draw, or you just do it?
I would say a good portion of my childhood was being trained, but not professionally. Like I never got an associate's or bachelor's degree, but considering the fact that my mom is also an artist, she honestly just gave me all of the fundamentals within the first like 10 years of my life. Like she would see me sketching or whatever and be like, wait, that ear is like really funky looking. Let me fix that for you and show you how to do it properly. In a really educational way though. Like she would always be super constructive with it. And further into my fashion career, I had the same thing with people in the arts, like at Austin School of Fashion Design when I studied the advanced like adult courses. I was like 13 through 15. I took illustration courses, and Mary Margaret Quadlander was the owner at the time, and she just really nurtured and mentored my skills. She was like, okay, I really see that you have, this passion for designing, and you're doing shows at Austin Fashion Week and everything. So how about you get a little bit more training, come to Austin Fashion Week for a few years, and we'll help fund your classes and everything. And even further into that, I went to Dallas, and then I found an art school that was actually made from an old Waffle House, which was super cool.
Mm.
And they did the same thing, and they just like took my portfolio and was like, no, like, you have a lot to work on, let's fix this. And they made me do still life. They made me do really boring pictures of leaves and just skeletons, like everything fundamental to learn the basics before I could get really creative and loose with my artwork like I am now.
Yeah, I love some of the I like this one a lot. Very
Oh,
flowy.
thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely think that fashion illustration has always been my primary focus. Like, it's always the thing that I go back to, because even in my career working at a company like Cocomat, fashion is like the number one thing that kind of drives everything that I do. Because if you carry yourself with confidence because you dress well and you are self-aware enough to know how you want to dress, then, and even to express, for example, like with my fashion illustration, then that is kind of like an act of self-care, and it just makes every day a little bit more improved. So
right. So let's see. I'm just trying to walk through some of your works. Now that's one of the jacket we're talking about, right?
Yeah, that was my top seller when I started it. And it's interesting because these jackets were actually kind of an accident, because I had a rooftop in Bushwick when I moved to New York. And I just took all of these extra leather jackets that I used to sew them from scratch. Wow. And I had a bunch of spray paints, and I took it on the roof. And the first time, it was actually storming outside in New York. It was so bad. The paint was almost kind of freezing as I sprayed it. But I was like, we got to do it. So I just kept painting. And when I took them back into the apartment, they actually had turned into these like drippy, splattered kind of pieces. And I was like, maybe this will become something else than I thought.
Yeah. Accidentally, just become an art. What is this? What is this shoe?
So those were shoes that I had a long time ago. They were just black combat heels that I had in like years and years back. And so when I started selling on ASOS Marketplace, this was like years back, but I actually started doing more accessories because I had a manager that was like, our most popular items right now are not necessarily leather jackets because they're only seasonal. So how about you start dabbling into some accessories? So I started getting shoes, backpacks, and I would just do the same thing with the jackets cohesively with the accessories and kind of complement them into sets.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Wow. Look at you.
That was my very gothic stage at Victoria's Secret.
I was like, give me some badass pictures. That's the one. That's the one. It's very nice. Yeah, that's like a few years old, right? A few years ago.
Yeah, I think it was about like 2.5 years.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah. So, let's look at that. So, Isa. So, now you acquire you're only 20 years old. It's just really amazing. You're creative, and you're also a producer. You're producing things, and now you work at the store. Also, you're learning all the business side of the work, right? And merchants, and so many different directions. Oh, that's a movie. So so tell us, do you have ultimately, like, do you know what in say 10 years, where would you want to be?
It's interesting because I think Cocomat is kind of a step to get to that point. And as much as I have all of these other creative endeavors with, right now it's mainly interior design at Cocomat. I mean, it's mainly just like we work with so many designers and architects. Half the time we're like sketching out, custom sofas and all that kind of stuff, because our manufacturer in Xanthi, Greece does all custom pieces for designers and interior designers and everything. And that would be the next step in the company. But interior design is just kind of like an atmospheric thing for me. It's not like the focus. So I would like to see it more geared towards fashion, but still in like that Cocomat realm. I don't really know if it's going to necessarily be like fashion or, you know, for example, like Cocomat does so many events. Like we have done fashion shows, we've done wellness events, and it's a very like overall stylish company. Like mainly our clientele are designers and creatives. So I think Cocomat is a big aspect of that. But I also see my art playing into, like, for example, we have artists displayed all the time in our showrooms. And right now we have one, his name is Hideki, actually, and he's from Japan. And he did these, like, beautiful sculptural denim pieces that, like, pop out of the walls. And they're, like, huge with, like, acrylic paint on denim. And he's been doing an exhibit and does events and everything. So Cocomat is kind of a really good way to involve an art career and kind of like delve into that and make more connections because so many artists are always coming in. I mean, SoHo is mainly galleries. So it's definitely going to tie in with my art, and we'll just see where that goes though. I mean, painting and illustration is like the primary focus of everything that I do. So
Right. So now you have been in New York for a few years now, um, and you were so young, when you first just came here. And do you have any stories you can share with us, like surprising, out of whack stories?
do I? Oh my goodness. Where do I begin with that? I think my most iconic one, there's just too many. Okay, so to begin with, I used to live in Bushwick. And so when I was living in my, I first walked in, I was 18, got my first tattoo. I was like, woohoo, New York. And of course, my parents were horrified and like, I cannot believe that we're leaving this child here to live by herself. Anyways, so I was living amongst black mold, which was horrendous, if anybody's aware of it. Rats and black mold in Bushwick is a very common thing. I wasn't that surprised, but and so I was like going to escape it for a walk. So I was just going to the park across the street to go for a little walk. And I was chilling, walking around, and this guy just like walks right in front of me, as people do in New York. Not surprised. And this guy is wearing a hat, and he says, "Rats off to you." And I was like, okay. He won't stop. He's like following me. He's like, "Rats off to you." And I was like, is there a purpose to this? I'm a little bit confused. And then he takes off his hat, and there is a white rat sitting on his head. He's like,
Oh my God.
"So you want to go listen to Joy Division with me?" And I was like, okay. Dude, I was like, I'm out of here. And I left, and I was sadly back in the apartment's black mold, could not escape New York in that moment. So yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
White
That was
rat.
that was weird. Yeah. But at least you didn't have to run into any situations like dangerous, huh? Or just wacko things.
I mean, I would say there have been questionable scenarios in New York. It's never entirely safe. Like New York always has a little bit of that, like questionable, like what am I getting into here, But enough years you spend in New York, you become aware of like all the red flags. So I've never been in a situation where I'm in like grave danger or I know that something bad is going to happen. It's just like a little bit bad. And then like 5 minutes later, you're like laughing on the phone with someone later, it's like,
Yeah.
so I would say not really.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Uh,
Speaking of strange things happening, do you want to hear a story of mine?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been in New York for a long time,
Yeah.
for 20 years. So 20 years ago when I was here, I was younger, right? So I I I I had a couple of times people would just like, like, I don't know, strangely, people will like want to talk to me, sort of like wanted to take me out or something. But one very interesting episode was on the subway. I remember
Uh-huh.
I remember I was reading on the platform, reading a music journal. It's called
Yeah.
Strad, Strad,
Oh yeah.
Stradivari. It's a very, so I was reading that, and then and then when I went out to the train, the train started to move, and then this guy just like keeps smiling at me, so I thought he must be a musician, right? Because he recognized I was reading a Strat, because
Yeah.
Strat is kind of like a foo-foo magazine.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I kind of like sort of friendly acknowledging his smiling, and then the next thing he said to me, it was not a very busy subway.
Hmm.
He said, uh, meet me at 83rd Street and Columbus. There's a coffee shop. It's called, what's
Uh-huh.
the coffee shop called? It's very nice with a lot of lights, at 83rd Street. Columbus.
Like Columbus Circle area?
No, it's Columbus Avenue, 83rd Street.
Oh,
There's
Avenue. Okay.
there's a coffee shop with lights on it. It's a very nice kind of. I just escaped me the name. He said,
Uh-huh.
meet me at there. Meet me there if you are. It. Oh, first thing he says, are you in love? First of all.
Oh my God. Are you
And
in
then,
love?
yeah, are you
stranger?
in love? Yeah. In other words, if you are not in love, meet me at the coffee shop. See what I mean? It's so funny. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
so,
What did
yeah.
you say to that? That's
Well,
so
very interesting, huh? Actually, can you believe I actually went to meet him?
Oh my gosh.
That was 20 years ago. So but it turns out he's a very interesting person. He's a rabbi.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. But I did not know he's a rabbi until a little bit later.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, so it's kind of wacko. So speaking of wacko, yeah,
That
wacko.
is such a New York thing to happen, though. I mean,
Yeah,
strangers walk up to each other and talk so much. It's like I've met on so many occasions strangers named Christopher in New York. I'm starting to really like wonder what's going on with New York right now and all the Christophers that keep talking to me on the streets.
Yeah. So now, does your parents like got really freaked out when you had all these tattoos?
Actually, it's interesting because I think at first a little like they were just a little bit shocked because nobody in my family has tattoos, like no one. And then to see me come home for the first time after like a year of New York, you'd expect like maybe one at a time, slowly, like 3, but it's like literally 1 year, like 9 tattoos, and they're like big tattoos, like pretty much all of my upper body is covered, even like all of the torso here.
Oh my God.
So at first, I think they were just trying to get used to it. They were like trying to understand, like, what are the intentions?
Yeah.
Is it because, and then I explained to them, like, oh, these are our names, like my siblings' names and my little brother. And like, here, this is like the Cypriot, the olive branch. And so everything has significance. And even like the chrysanthemum that I have on my torso here, like it's my birth flower. And so when they started to understand that it was out of love and good intentions, now they're like, okay, we're down with that, It took a while though.
So are you, when you did those tattoos, were you just because you think they are pretty, or you want to be a little rebellious with with your life, or walk me through, because I have no experience of, or I think I will be scared to death to go get any tattoo, you know what I mean? So tell me a little bit more about a 20-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old. What's the thinking process?
I mean, absolutely. At first, it was all about adrenaline. I mean, everything I did was about adrenaline. Like on my 18th birthday, I'm going to start an S corporation. I'm going to sell jackets. I'm going to get a huge tattoo. And, like on this, like on my chest here, this was like a huge chest piece. It took all day. And yeah, it's all about adrenaline. I mean, New York is the city for adrenaline. Like you walk down the street and you're like swimming through people. I mean, you're jamming like whatever crap music that's like blasting just so you can make it through your daily commute. It's all about adrenaline. But now I've kind of evolved into this state of serenity. Like now I'm always talking about, like I had that one post about like a study in serenity, because now it is really just about what's beautiful to me and what's significant and brings you peace and joy. And so I would say at first it was all about that. But then I like around like 19 and a half, I was like, I'm so tired. Like I am burnt out on adrenaline. I think the adrenaline has like ran out in my body. So now it's just about what's significant, like beautiful reminders of like family and love and people that I care about. So it was a bit of a journey of my tattoos.
Yeah. So isn't that a hurting? Like is it like
Oh,
what's the tolerance? You must have a very high tolerance of pain.
yes. And that's the crazy thing. I actually, like, even with this, like, this goes all the way down my sternum, and I did not feel any pain. Like, okay, this piece, like the torso, this is my entire rib cage, my hip bones, and even some of my back. That was a nightmare. And that was actually the beginning of the pandemic. Like, it was really before masks and everything, so it was still pretty safe. But I would say other than that, I never really had pain because it's mainly my arms and like right here. So I have a very high pain tolerance, but you have to just make sure you don't drink a lot of coffee or like obviously no alcohol, and you eat really good. And your blood is going to be like pretty, it's not going to be thinned or anything. So it's not going to hurt as much. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Oh, speaking of drinking, there's so many pictures of you. You hold a cup. I was wondering, what are you drinking?
Oh,
Are
like
you...
this one.
Yeah, so many frames.
I have so many cups. Like I collect all
Yeah.
kinds of weird.
Yeah.
I actually used to live on the street, like the same block as a really cool old Jewish guy that lives in Bushwick. And he has this like just pit of so much junk. It's literally called like Green Vintage Store or something, just in Bushwick. And I would go in all the time when I first moved to New York. And like this was like $1, and it's like handmade in Thailand, like a vintage piece. He's like, I'll give it to you for $1. And I pick up like 6 of these cups and plates and bowls from like all over the world. And I'm like, $1? Yeah. But it's coffee.
Yeah.
It's
So you're a coffee drinker.
So much coffee, it's terrible.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 So many times I see you holding a cup, and yeah, very interesting. So could we talk about more of your I guess what is what when you sketch so many of these things at lunchtime, so is that a expression, or do you have a goal of putting them together as some kind of album, or any commercial thought on those?
Actually, yes, I definitely, because this is really how I cope with the lack of like interaction with society. I mean, yes, I work in a store, but Cocomat is administrative. Like we don't have a ton of foot traffic. It's not like working in Victoria's Secret like before, where I would talk to like 1,000 customers a day. I mean, now it's so isolated. Like my life is, I mean, everybody's life is more isolated. And as an artist and an extrovert, I was like, how can I, express my passion for like people, my interest in all of these different personalities. And so I do have like, it kind of started as an accident, like a random thing. But now that I compiled it on a portfolio page on my website, I decided that in the end, I was definitely going to compile it into like a journal or some kind of like series and publish it maybe with like stories like I did in my last post on my blog about Asmund, which means protector. And it's about a random interaction with an almost stranger. And that kind of idea inspired that series. And I kind of want to compile it with my writing in the end to make a piece about what we're all going through, about isolation in this circumstance. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So during the whole since March, so you always had work, right? You always go to Cocomat to.
There were a few weeks where we were at home, but it was still remote working. But mainly, okay. Because even like I think all through April, I was still going into the store, but one at a time, like not with other people. and
Yeah.
it was just for like calls and shipping stuff from the store. So
Yeah, yeah. So you're lucky compared to, right? Compared to many grown-ups,
I'm
and
very grateful. Yeah, I'm very
yeah,
grateful. Yeah.
people lose job, or people
Mhm.
yeah, cut jobs being cut and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Now tell us a little bit of your experience with Fashion Mingle.
Yeah,
Where I meet you. Yeah.
Fashion Mingle was like my foot in the door for everything. I mean, it's crazy. I actually did an event at Cocomat in the Lexington location with Cocomat. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but years back, we did a fashion show there for a designer, and Fashion Mingle produced it. And I don't think any of the people that work with me now were there at the time, but I did kind of just get connections, like gain awareness about the industry in general. And Melissa really gave me like a voice. I mean, she saw this like kid essentially like working remotely in New York and was like, let's see what you got. I'll give you a chance. And I was able to do blog coverage, and I was interviewing like Tadashi Shwaji, which was like an amazing moment for a young aspiring designer like myself. And it did really give me a voice that brought confidence in my career. Like now, for example, as a 20-year-old, excuse me, most people at 20, they're still trying to really gain or find that voice and that confidence. But because I had a supportive family, and B, people in the industry that gave me that chance, I mean, I still had to really work for it and prove myself. But in the end, it was a huge deal for my career now. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for Fashion Mingle. Otherwise, I won't not have known you. Um, yeah, for about 5 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Fashion
they're very good for resources and connections. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fashionmingle.net is a service now, right? It's a service to connect with fashion designers or media people, or photographers, or yeah, and to mingle and to uh how do I say, network with each
Right.
other. Yeah. So yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, now do you want to tell us a little bit more, any other uh like artistic work that you're doing, or you will be doing, or any long term sort of a planning, like writing also. I mean, I mentioned earlier, you write so beautifully. Have
Thank
you thought about, other than writing blog, have you thought about writing like novel?
Actually, it's interesting because I have done bits and pieces, like personal projects like that. I wouldn't say novels, like nothing huge, but I did do a little bit of one when at my time at Victoria's Secret, because that was an almost like challenge on my psyche, because it was like overnights that were like 12 plus hours, and it just really like showed me this is what fashion is like in New York. If you want fashion, you're gonna have to sacrifice your life and your health. And so I wrote almost like a fantasy kind of piece, like a Black Mirror kind of thing about interpreting that. And it just went more and more into like every day when I'm going through stuff in New York, it's so easy to translate it into crazy stories. And so I definitely have plans for the future to write books. I've already like written down concepts with titles and everything. And that's kind of what the blog is training myself. Like I'm trying to get myself used to that idea. But obviously I feel like I'm way too young to feel confident like, oh, I can write a book. So I want to like just get myself there to that point in like the next 10 years or so. And until then, I do contribute for like Thought Catalog, which is another blog where they do like thought pieces and stuff. So until then, blog posts. But yes, I do have plans in the future for that.
Do you find uh, social media such as Facebook, Instagram, or some other platform, do are you like very very spend a lot of time on it, or how do you feel about social media?
I think social media used to be something to interact with people, and I had a lot of expectations like, oh, I'm gonna make friends on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And the truth is, in New York, I mean, I have so much face-to-face interaction with like on the street the other day, I had an espresso with a guy that owned the place nearby, like a restaurant nearby, that was from Albania, telling me all these really cool stories. And I was like, I can't really get that kind of experience from Instagram. So for now, I believe Instagram to be a really great resource to connect with people all over the world for like language, you know, to like speak different languages and like share work. But when it comes to the expectation of like close relationships, I leave that to like real life. But in terms of sharing my work, absolutely, it is an amazing resource to put your work out there. Now, really, anyone can become an artist because you have that right there with everyone on it, and anyone can see it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Did you design your own website?
I did. Like, my dad is actually a like an engineer, so he kind of helped me with the servers and everything. But when it came to the template and the designing, that's been like 10 years in the making. I mean, I've been developing that for years.
May I ask what software do you use for this clean look? I love this kind of clean look.
So I use WordPress as an overall server, which is,
WordPress.
in my opinion, the best. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, but what about Space? What is that? The Space one? Do you know what I'm talking about?"
I don't know. I only know Wix, Wix.
There's Wix, and then there's another one that's like a very clean kind of service, but it's a monthly fee that doesn't even include the domain or the server. So I use WordPress, and the templates that I use are from Divi themes, and I just chose one of those themes. It's like a monthly annual subscription to all of the themes, and overall, for the server, domain, themes, everything, and then I design it myself. It's extremely affordable, so that's what I use.
It looks really great.
Thank
it
you.
looks really classy, and I like the clean look. Yeah, and also kind of a contemporary too. You know, the feeling.
You want the work to speak for itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, oh yeah. Speaking of your father, your mom, can you tell us a little bit of your background, like where were you born and raised and stuff?
Yeah, I was born in Austin, and then 10 months later moved to New Jersey and pretty much grew up there. I was there for like 8 years. And so I spent most of my childhood north and would often come to New York. So I was exposed to New York at a very young age, and then moved back to Texas, Austin, and then Dallas. So I had exposure to all of the metro cities in Texas and up north. And then, yeah, so, but my family is mainly from Michigan. So that's where they are now. And it's a really beautiful place to escape. I gotta say, like being in New York and then being able to go to Michigan for holidays every once in a while. Oh man, it's so nice. It's a nice escape from New York. Yeah.
Nice. So have you had a chance to travel much to like Europe? And I know you've been in Greece, that right?
Well, only Cyprus, and then other than that, Venice, Rome, and Paris. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Only
Yeah.
nice places. So if you had a say if you had a luxuries of living in three locations a year, where would you like to live?
Like 3 different locations?
Yes.
Oh, 3 different. I would say Berlin, which I've actually never been, but my dad used to work in Germany, and I'm very envious because I've always wanted to go. So I take the risk and just say Berlin. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Cyprus. I love Cyprus. It's like I consider it to be my second home, and I do love Venice. Venice was just utterly beautiful. So Berlin, Venice, Cyprus.
Yeah. Very beautiful. Yeah. So, do you have a question for me before we do that?
Yeah, because I saw you actually. So you came to New York at a very young age too, right?
I came to New York. I'm very old. I was already old.
How? Because I saw a post about like you came here to study. Was it music?
Yeah, I came to United States to study 35 years ago.
Right.
But I didn't come to New York City. I went to Bloomington, Indiana.
Oh,
that's the university I went. Yeah.
And how did you get into music? Like, what was your inspiration?
I was studying piano because my mother was a pianist. in
Yeah.
Shanghai. I was born in Shanghai. So, and then I didn't really study very seriously.
Hmm.
Um, I saw my neighbor play the violin, and I was like, oh, there's only one line of music to read. That must be easy.
Hmm.
So I decided I want to be a violinist too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like when I was like 10 or 11. So
Right.
I started to play the violin when I was 11, and very went through rigorous training in China, in Shanghai.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went to conservatory in Shanghai, and then after that I came to the United States and continued to study music. So I'm a violist. I play the
Yeah.
viola.
So what brought
Yeah.
you to New York to do filmmaking and shorts?
Oh yeah.
I find that to be
well,
so cool, by the way. Like I have so much
thank
respect for
you.
that.
Yeah, I always love shooting. I start to make a like in 1988. I already start to shoot videos, but I had no idea what I was doing. I never studied, just kind of shoot. And anyway, so I love New York City. So I remember 1986 is the first time I had exposure of coming to New York City. I came with a Indiana University Orchestra. We
Hmm.
played a concert in here. So I loved New York City. Then finally, it took me so long. Took me, a long time. I just moved to New York. I quit my job. I
Hmm.
played with the Phoenix Symphony for 7 years, and I
Wow.
said, if I don't move, if I don't leave Phoenix, I'll be having family there or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just moved to New York, and so when I came to New York, I just love the city, and then eventually I went to NYU to study film, and
Hmm.
I took what do you call crash course, a
Right.
fast
Right.
course. So after that, I started to learn how to editing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been shooting a lot. I have about 600 videos on YouTube, and probably I made more than 10, 12 short films. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And
So
now you're also a professor. You said you teach as well.
yeah, I've been teaching at a college called St. Joseph's College. I
Wow.
teach music appreciation. Yeah, I've been teaching for 16 years. Yeah. So right now it's everything's online, there's nothing going on. But yeah, so I've been teaching, and I also teach music. I run a sort of a studio, my own studio.
Oh wow.
I teach violin and viola and some other music.
That's like one of the most hardest instruments. I know my little brother tried playing because he plays piano
Uh-huh.
amazingly, and he also did a little bit of violin, and
Yeah.
it's like the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
I have so much
Uh,
respect.
oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. String instruments are hard. Yeah, hard.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard to have good sound, especially
right. Because
in the
it's not like it
beginning.
has frets like on a guitar. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
more about like exact placement, and you just kind of have to like memorize.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, string instruments is hard. So great. Yeah. So it's so great to catch up with you, and I want you to keep making your art, and including your writing. I'll be following you.
Yeah,
And
thank you. And
yeah,
I'll be following
yeah,
you too. I love seeing your work also. I've
yeah.
always had so much respect for you running around with all those cameras
Ah,
in New York.
and also when you did those jackets and those really fantastic looking photos, did you ever consider to be a model? Because you had to model your own work.
It's a funny question because no, I
No,
never.
you look so fantastic. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
I honestly,
yeah.
I just like creating. I find
Uh-huh.
modeling to be a little bit ingenuine for me personally. I have so much, I love other models when they have a personality and they can encompass the
Mhm.
look that the director wants, like the photographer. But when it comes to me, I have too much of my own vision that if
Mm.
someone else, because I did a lot of shoots back in the day, like in Austin, I had a lot of shoots that I did with photographers and everything. And I just didn't like someone else telling me what to do. I was like, no, I have it my own ideas. Like, let me
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, I know,
So
I
yeah.
know. Yeah, yeah. It's a little passive way of expression, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
passive. Yeah. I'm more
Right.
Hands on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, should we do our rapid fire?
Yeah, rapid
Oh,
fire.
okay, rapid
Yeah.
fire. By the way, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. We have some of your friends and some of my friends, and please consider subscribe Juhl Media's my channel. I really appreciate, and please read Jessica's website. It's which is in the below in the description. Okay, and you'll be blown mind. Read her blog. I loved it. I loved it. Yeah. So she's such a fantastic writer. Thank you guys for being with us. Now, rapid fire is like just short question and short
Okay.
answer. So okay.
All right, gotta prepare for this.
How many languages do you speak?
Just 2.
2. That's good.
Yeah.
Spicy food or not?
Spicy. All the way. Like way too spicy.
Let's go to Korean town.
Yes.
3 things you like about New York City.
The energy, the unexpected, and the constant inspiration and chaos. Yeah.
If you win lottery tomorrow, what were you gonna do with the money?
I would run away, far away, across the seas, and never look back. This art for the rest of my life.
Now, okay. Who would you like to have lunch with? Dead or alive? Why?
Alexander McQueen, easiest question ever. Alexander McQueen is my icon. Yes.
Ice cream flavor.
Vanilla. I'm old fashioned. Vanilla.
Me too. Yeah. So you wait, I was oh, favorite color, do you have one? Because you're artist. That's a difficult question, huh?
Rose gold. Rose gold.
Yeah.
Or just like rose, any like rosy color.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. Do you have a favorite cuisine? Type of cuisine?
I gotta say Cypriot cuisine. Like when I went to the tavernas in Cyprus, I was like, ooh, can't look back.
Okay. Chicken, beef, or pork?
Chicken.
Okay. Good. Yeah. So I already asked you that question. Like, if you would if you would live in 3 different countries, 3 different places. Yeah. So now let's see what else. Yeah. Now, if someone, this is a long question actually. If someone wants to move to New York City, if a 16-year-old person want to come to New York City, what advice you would give it to him or her?
I do have a few friends actually that I know want to move to New York City. And the thing that I would always say to them is to be open-minded, because I feel like every person that comes to New York, they're like, I am going to do this and only this. And if that doesn't happen, they want to move back home. They're like, okay, this is out of my comfort zone. Everything is new. And my dream didn't exactly come true the way I thought. And because like for me, it was like, oh, I'm going to, just sell jackets. I'm going to be a fashion designer. And in a way, I'm still a designer, but it didn't happen the way I thought. And I had to like just keep my mind open to literally anything. And it means that you're going to fall down and be super embarrassed. And you have to not have pride and just be humble and open-minded, and opportunities will just come flowing in. So there you go. Yeah.
Well said. Thank you. Last question, which I already know the answer. I always ask that. Coffee or tea?
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. Ideally, the Cypriot coffee is my favorite. You can't go wrong with that, but any coffee or espresso.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Great.
you. Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice chatting with you, and I hope all the best for you. And maybe we can meet in Korean town one day.
Yes. Get that spicy food going.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
You bring a carton of milk.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And until next time,
Until
thank
next
you.
time.
Okay. Bye bye.
Take care.